In every quiet neighborhood, there's always that one house. Not because it's haunted, not because something happened, but because nothing ever seems to happen there. That was 43 Elmridge Lane. For nearly 4 years, it stood quietly in the middle of a peaceful Oregon suburb. Blinds always closed, grass a little longer than the rest, mail barely touched. But behind those closed doors was one of the most chilling missing persons cases the town of Green Hollow had ever seen. This is the story of Jessica Winslow and the man who watched her from inside her own home. It was April 12, 2019. Jessica Winslow, a 31-year-old graphic designer, had just wrapped up a major freelance project. That evening, she called her sister Danielle, just like she did every Friday. They spoke briefly. Jessica sounded tired but upbeat. She mentioned ordering Thai food and looking forward to a quiet night in. She never answered her phone again. By Sunday, Danielle felt uneasy. By Tuesday, she was worried. On Wednesday, she filed a missing person report. Police conducted a welfare check. The front door was locked. No signs of forced entry. Her Honda Civic still sat in the driveway. Inside the house, everything looked normal. Dinner leftovers were still in the microwave. Her phone sat on the nightstand still charging, and the bathroom light was still on. Nothing appeared stolen. No signs of a struggle. It was like Jessica had stepped out for a moment and never returned. She was officially declared missing on April 17th. The search was massive. Volunteers, drones, K-9 units. They combed every park, trail, and wooded area around the neighborhood. Nothing. Her phone activity stopped cold on April 12th. No texts, no calls, no transactions. A few neighbors reported seeing her that Friday evening, putting the trash out. One neighbor mentioned hearing a faint scream around 10 p.m., but assumed it was coming from a television show. No witnesses, no security footage, no leads, just a woman who vanished without leaving a trace. Over the next several months, the investigation stalled. Jessica's family refused to sell the house. It was sealed off, left untouched, preserved in case evidence ever turned up. Still, time passed. News coverage faded. Posters came down. The community moved on. But one detective didn't. Rachel Marquez had joined the case in late 2019. She was experienced, methodical, and known for her obsessive attention to detail. She started from scratch, reconstructed Jessica's last 48 hours, interviewed more than 40 people, reviewed over 130 hours of surveillance footage from nearby homes and businesses. Nothing. One detail stood out. In October 2018, Jessica had hired a local handyman to repair a leaky kitchen pipe. His name was Trevor Lindell. He'd only worked for her once. No complaints were filed. No reason to raise suspicion at the time. But Rachel made a note of it. Then, in November 2021, nearly 2.5 years after Jessica disappeared, the house on Elmridge Lane caught the city's attention again. With no one living there and taxes unpaid, a routine inspection was ordered. A code enforcement officer named Mark Wilton was sent to assess the home. Inside the basement, something caught his attention. A slight breeze, a cold draft, coming from behind a built-in shelving unit. The shelves looked newer than the rest of the basement. Strange. He reported it. That evening, police returned with a warrant. They carefully removed the shelving and peeled back drywall behind it. What they found was a narrow crawl space, and beyond it, a small, hidden room. It was dark, cramped, no ventilation. It smelled like rot and mold. Inside was a thin sleeping bag, a pile of food wrappers, an old paperback copy of The Bell Jar, and something far more chilling, long strands of brown hair embedded in the dirty floorboards. On the wall was a tiny hole, just big enough to see through. And on the other side of that hole, Jessica's bedroom. There was also a camera, dead battery, and a wiped hard drive. Forensics confirmed it. The hair matched Jessica's DNA, and prints on a water bottle found inside the room led back to one person, Trevor Lindell. Rachel pulled up his background: a history of stalking charges in California. One dismissed in 2015, another in 2016. Nothing ever stuck. But now they had something more. Officers tracked him down to Sacramento in February 2022. He was living under a different name and working as a night janitor in a supply warehouse. When questioned, he denied ever returning to Jessica's home, denied hiding in her house, denied everything until the fingerprints came up. Faced with the evidence, Trevor cracked. In a nearly 11-hour interrogation, he admitted what he had done, or at least parts of it. He said that during his plumbing job in 2018, he had unlocked a basement window and left it that way. Months later, he returned. And this time, he didn't leave. Trevor claimed he lived in the crawl space for weeks in early 2019, watched Jessica through the peephole, listened to her music, her conversations. He memorized her routines. He said he only wanted to be close to her. Then, on April 12th, he decided to make contact. He crept out of the crawl space while she slept. He claimed she woke up, screamed, and in his panic, she fell and hit her head. Investigators weren't convinced. No blood was found, no body, just a hidden room and a mountain of circumstantial horror. Trevor refused to tell them where Jessica's body was, but what they had was enough. In December 2022, Trevor Lindell was convicted of first-degree murder, burglary, and unlawful confinement. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. The house on Elmridge Lane stood untouched for a few more months, but after repeated petitions from the community, it was demolished in March 2023. Today, it's just an empty lot, overgrown and silent. Jessica's family held a memorial that spring. Without her remains, there was no burial, no headstone, just flowers, candles, and a photo. We think of our homes as the safest place we can be. But for Jessica Winslow, home became a place of terror.